Started the recording, and
Okay.
so
If you're waiting for team members, I'm a little bit early, so it's up to you.
I think it's just us. Unfortunately, some other of our team members are going back home after the semester, so I think it's likely just going to be us here. So I'm Kai Gonino. I'm the chief engineer and team lead of the Liberty University rocketry team. This is Emma Patterson, our recovery team lead, and this is Luke Steiner, our manufacturing lead.
Excellent.
So we're ready to answer any questions you have, and yeah.
Okay. Do you have a presentation at all?
No, I thought we were just thinking you were gonna ask questions, and we're ready to show you every part of this rocket.
Let's go through the rocket. So let's start basically, and this is what I would also do on the live inspection. So let's start at the back end of the rocket.
Alrighty. So obviously we don't have the engine or the motor in it right now, but there's the back end.
Okay, you have fit checked the motor casing.
Yeah, we can grab the motor.
He's going to get
Okay,
it right
are
now.
you using a disposable motor or are you using a reloadable?
It's a reloadable. It's a Aerotech M1845.
Okay, and do you have the casing or you don't have a casing yet either?
Luke's bringing it right now.
Okay, because we have had teams in the past that have attempted to put the motor in and couldn't put it in. So
All right.
let's put the casing in and show that the casing does in fact go in the rocket. Okay, that's a good thing. Okay, so starting from the back end here, what is the booster section made of?
This is carbon fiber.
Okay, and it looks like your fins are carbon fiber also.
Yes, sir.
Dragon plate.
Dragon plate carbon fiber.
Okay, and how are the fins attached to the rocket?
This is epoxy, aero epoxy, correct?
Yeah.
And with like a black dye in it just to make it look better.
Carbon fiber.
It also has chopped carbon fiber bits in it to add extra strength.
And then also
Okay.
there's a fillet all the way around here.
Let me go to the other side.
And then if you were to do a cross section, you would see that on the other side of this airframe, there's a fillet on the motor tube that's connecting the fin to the motor tube on both sides. So essentially, we have 4 fillets per fin.
Okay,
And
not going anywhere.
no,
Okay, so I'll take your word for it there. Well, and we'll check it anyway. Well, it'll be checked again
yeah, you know what?
at
Yeah,
Spaceport. Okay, that looks good. What was your prep on your surfaces before you applied epoxy?
We wiped down with isopropyl and we first sanded it with 220 and then wiped down with isopropyl alcohol and then just applied epoxy.
Okay. Okay. While we're on the back end here, where is your aft lug, your rail lug?
Flip that. There's one right here and another
Okay.
right here.
Okay, and what are they? Obviously, there's screws in them. What are they screwed into?
So they're screwed into a T-nut, which is epoxied into the carbon fiber. So a metal T-nut that comes with the lugs.
Okay. On the forward lug, is anything protruding into a parachute compartment that can hang up on parachutes?
Nope.
No, there isn't. There's this is our payload section, so there's actually a bulkhead roughly here, preventing any recovery from interfering with that.
Okay, very good. All right. Um, I assume those yellow tape, that's your CG and CP?
Yes, we were taking measurements last week and just didn't remove them yet.
No. This is not CP. This is depending on. We have a ballast system set up, so we have some extra weight in the back, some extra weight in the front. And depending on how we move around those weights in discrete increments, we can change the CG. So this was just us experimenting with different ballast configurations. So this was
Okay, so what I would like to see on when you get out to Spaceport is identify with a more permanent marking where your center of pressure is,
yeah.
if you haven't done so already. And what I'm most interested in is your aft most allowable center of gravity, because that would give me the minimum stability if you gave me the aft most center of gravity.
This is
What's the aft most you would allow?
this is this is the aftmost.
Okay,
Not
so you should be marking that too, what your aft allowable is. It's just like on an airplane, because the airplane, depending upon payload, the CG is allowable within a range.
What caliber?
what stability are you looking for? Caliber.
I think if I remember, they were looking for 2 calibers. I have to go look at
Exactly
the
2 or plus or minus some.
plus or minus. I mean, that's the target.
Okay.
Okay, give me a moment here. I have
our
I have
stability
this
is
I have the detail. I can look it up right here. And you should have stated that where your what your stability is for your
I can pull up our sim right now.
7.
how is your weight matching your sim? How well do you match for weight with your sim?
Exact.
Exact? Okay. That's excellent. Okay, launch stability. Um, let's see what we got here. So the launch, they want to see at least 1.5 calibers.
Yeah, we're
well within that.
Okay. All right, so the booster section here. Let's go ahead and let's simulate flight. By the way, who is the gentleman that's sitting back there? Just so I know.
I don't know if he's a gentleman, but it's Mark Miller.
This is Mark Miller. He's been our advisor for the past 2 years, and he just walked in a little bit late. He snuck in behind us while we were talking to you.
Okay, well, thank you for mentoring.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So anyway, all right. So the booster section looks good to me. So let's go ahead and you're going to launch the rocket, and at apogee, I assume you're going to deploy a drogue.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead, and the way I'd like to simulate the drogue deployment is just walk the sections apart.
Okay. Would you guys like to take it over there? You got more space?
Well, I don't want this coming out. Let's just make sure pins here.
Okay, are your shear pins installed right now?
No, they are not.
No, they're not.
Okay, what are you using for shear pins?
4x40 nylon.
Okay, how many?
So we're using 4 for our drogue bay and 6 for our main bay.
Okay, and when you did your ejection testing, you did that with the shear pins installed, correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And it's
Okay.
been tested just like
It has been flight tested as well and has worked.
Okay, very good. And just for information here, what is the size of your charges? What are the drogue charge sizes?
So the drogue charge size, we actually just recently up to 3 grams. We added a little bit of extra tether length, so we needed more power in order to get the drogue chute out. So it's 3 grams for the main charge, and then 3.5 for the redundant charge. And then for our
Okay.
main bay, it's 2.5 for the main charge and 3 for the redundant charge.
Okay, and what's the sequencing? I'm assuming that the primary drogue is at apogee.
Yes, sir. And then redundant is 2 seconds after, if I remember correctly. 1 second after.
Okay, that's typical. It's 1 second. Okay, and what about, when is your main being deployed?
So right now we're predicting 1,200 feet. So
It is 1,200.
it is, well, it's 1,200 feet. Yeah, it's 1,200 feet.
Okay, and what's your backup on that?
For the main charge.
Yes,
So
Yes.
main charge is 2.5. Redundant charge is 3.
okay, and when are you firing the backup charge for the main?
1 second after.
Okay, so you're gonna deploy it at 1,200 feet, says the initial charge for the main, and then 1 second after that, you'll set off the backup charge.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go ahead and it's up to you how you want to do it. What I'm looking for is as you separate the parts, are your chutes basically packed for flight right now?
Yes.
Okay, so as you separate, what I'm looking for is, do the parachutes basically, are you struggling for them to come out? Do they basically fall out? That's what I'm looking for here.
Okay.
I'll leave it up
Um,
to you where you want to do that.
Yeah, I would say I don't.
I'm gonna do it here.
Mr. Loveliner, just as a extra specification, the drogue bay is in this section. As she pulls this apart, because we don't have shear pins installed currently, this part might come apart, but that's simply because of the demonstration. It's not indicative of what would actually
Okay,
happen.
understood. And Mark, if you want to help as far as, cheap labor, I don't have a problem with that.
Thanks, sir.
I'm not the strongest at this.
It's all right. Okay,
I notice you're fighting it a little bit. Was it this tight when you did the deployments?
It's actually pressure. The chamber is so well sealed that there's a lot of suction pulling back on it.
Okay, so that brings up a question. Are you gonna put a vent hole in the chamber? Because as you go to altitude, you'll be holding whatever base pressure was in there.
It has a vent hole.
There's a vent hole right there.
Okay, so it's a small one, basically.
Yes, sir.
That should be relieving your vacuum in there.
I'm also just not strong.
All right, hold on.
It's easier if we do it off the stand.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Let's bring it out here. Put it all out. Set it down a bit. Yeah. Okay, here we
It's a little bit small.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay, just walk the sections apart. I just want to see how the parachute essentially falls out.
There's your drone.
Okay, very good.
Sorry,
I'm happy with that. You want to put stuff down? Go ahead and put it down, and then I'll ask some questions. If you want to put it back up on the stand and so on, I'll leave that up to you.
I think we just leave it on the floor for now. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like, I'm assuming that your shock cord is Kevlar?
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so on the booster side, how is that attached to the booster?
So it's attached via a quick link, a stainless steel quick link, way in the back here. It's a little hard to see all the way in there, but there is a center forged steel eye nut located in the middle of the bulkhead, and then there's a quick link attaching the tether to that eye nut.
Okay, and how thick is the bulkhead?
1/4 inch.
Quarter inch G10 fiberglass.
It's made out of G10 fiberglass.
Okay. Is there any kind of a stress distributing large, like a fender washer on the backside of that?
We do have washers located on it to help with
So,
just for-
Like, if you look at this,
Yeah.
there's
You
a,
can't.
okay.
You me in there?
Yes.
So at that eye bolt, there's a washer on the back side of it. I know. Okay, sorry.
There you go.
With
Okay.
that eye bolt in there, there's a washer on the back side. And then there are 2 1/4-20 all thread rods. You see those 2 silver
I see
discs on the
that.
side of it. So those are 1/4-20 all thread rods. And those basically, we use the payload, which is currently in here, to basically compress that. And so that keeps it in place from going further into the booster section. And then obviously these guys prevent it from coming out this way.
Okay,
So
and
it's
that is a
kind of,
removable bulkhead.
yeah,
Yes,
it's a
correct.
removable one. Yeah.
Okay, so what's holding it basically in place is the all thread going back to an aft bulkhead?
Yeah, so there's another bulkhead back here, right about where this other lug nut is, or lug, and that is epoxied in there. And you can see it from the backside if we took you saw it earlier. when we took the
I
motor.
believe you there. You don't need to take it apart.
Um,
Okay, so I'm good there. Are you, and this is a question, it's not a requirement. Are you going to use tape or anything, or do you have tape on there to bundle your shock cord for an orderly deployment?
Yes. So the tape actually broke when we had pulled it out, but we do have about 2 or 3 layers of tape wrapped around our tether.
Okay,
so
very
that
good. Very
keeps
good.
it-
I mean, again, it's your call to do it. It's not a requirement or anything. It helps on an orderly deployment of the shock cord.
I definitely agree.
Okay, looks good. Let's just move forward then along it there. Let's look at the drogue.
Am I allowed to pick it up here?
And you have do you have a swivel on the drogue?
Yes, sir. So this is a 1,000 pound rated swivel length.
Okay, very good. Let's keep moving forward. Okay, and let's see, just can you zoom in and just get a little bit closer on the, okay, so a little bit of a concern here. In fact, it just came up recently when I was at SLI. With the way you've got the bridle through the two lugs there, are those swivel type lugs?
No, sir. These are, well, I mean, we can unscrew
They're
it. So these
solid
are,
forged?
yes, sir. Yeah, they're solid forged.
Okay. What is this loop that's unused over here?
So initially, when we had first bought the tethers, we had a different idea on how to connect the tethers to these 2 eye nuts here. So originally it was a 3-sewn loop tether, but then when we were designing it, we figured that it would be much better to actually tie a knot instead of trying to attach a quick link system. So now we have just a little extra loop sitting on the end of it. We always
Okay,
make sure
my
that
one
when we have it.
suggestion,
Sorry?
my suggestion would be is to tape that down or stow it somehow so it doesn't have a potential to tangle up on anything.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the other, I don't think you need to change it. It is a minor concern. The forged eye bolts are really, they're rated for their strength essentially with a linear pull, not with a side pull. And you're putting a side force on those with the way you've got your bridle right now.
yeah, but the bridle. So this knot is normally tied much farther up, and so
Okay.
when that's the case, there's less side
Less
force.
of an angle.
In addition to that, we did run into that issue. We put, when we pop this off, I'll show you the avionics. There's a washer that is been, with the help of a jam nut, basically pressed up against this bulkhead. So there's a washer here. The eye bolt has a shoulder, then there's a washer, and then there's a neoprene washer. And then on the other side, there's a neoprene washer and then a big washer like this. So
Okay.
there's a couple things basically just holding it, or preventing it from torquing sideways. Because we didn't have that issue. We did run into that issue, but we added some.
Okay, can I just look at the bulkhead? I want to just see it end on. I just want to, okay. Okay, so you got your charge wells, you're hooking up your pyrotechnic, your electric matches to this terminal block here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a comment. Again, this is not a requirement to be changed or anything. It is purely a comment. Is on best practice. This is a practice I don't like myself, and the reason I don't like the practice is that the black powder residues are corrosive, and over time you could have intermittent connections on that terminal block. You don't have to change anything. It's just a comment. You can ignore me. I'm not asking you actually to change the rocket because it works. So, but just be mindful of that. Inspect the terminal block for corrosion. Make sure you've got good, solid connections when you hook up for your next flight.
Yeah, so after every flight, we spray down with a carbon choke cleaner, and it's basically like a gun solvent.
Okay.
So that basically dissolves the powder that built up, or well, we try to get most of it. Then we'll scrub it with the brush.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not asking you to change anything. It's purely an observation, and assuming that you're going to do this next year, it's just something to keep in mind on future designs.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so it looks like you've got one caliper on this joint for your for the length of the coupler. Looks like
Yes,
it's
sir.
at least as okay. That's good. Okay, so the drogue is out. You're falling down. We're at 1,200 feet, and now you're going to pop your main.
Emma, would you mind bringing it over here more?
Okay, I'm assuming your drogue looks like it has some soot and stuff on it. I'm assuming there's nothing burned on there.
No, sir, I did just check it actually.
You can just call me Steve, by the way. I'm not formal.
Okay. So,
All right.
Okay,
So,
is there a vent hole for this compartment? By the way.
No, because we use the camera hole. as a
Okay,
vent.
so it is vented.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. And that hole was there when you did your ejection tests?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
there's also the altimeter vent holes.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, that doesn't.
Yeah, that should be sealed in the eBay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the same type of rigging here. I'm assuming this is identical, looking at it to the back end.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Steven.
let's go ahead and let's deploy the main. Okay, you don't have to go all the way apart. Excellent, good enough.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, you gotta repack it.
Oh, no.
Okay, that looks like it came out nice and easy. So just look forward. Let me look forward. I want to look forward on the rocket. What is
Like this way?
Yeah. What I want to know is the forward attachment point for the shock
Okay.
port. How is it attached?
Do you have the flashlight?
So the attachment point for the forwardmost bulkhead for the main parachute is the same system that we have in the rearmost bulkhead for the drogue parachute. It's just a center forged steel eye nut with a quick link attachment.
Okay.
The only difference
right,
is
looks
that
like
we
you got
don't have the threaded rods as well. So it's just one hole.
Okay. The nose cone is permanently mounted up there.
Yes, sir. Steven.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Well, it's not it's permanent for the flight, but you can take it off.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it bolted or whatever?
It's bolted.
Yes. So there is bolts that go here, but the bulkhead that that the recovery system is attached to is epoxied in. It's permanent.
Okay. All right. So really, there's no pressure or anything that can blow the nose off. That you just have the screws holding the
No,
nose
sir.
on.
No chance.
Okay. All right. Just two screws holding the nose on.
4. There's
4?
another,
Okay.
and another, and another.
Okay. What kind of screws? What size are they?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but Luke's bringing them to me right now. There they are for reference.
I'm gonna guess they look like they're bigger. They're like number 6s or number 8s, maybe even bigger.
Where am I?
Yeah. All right. I'm good with it. Okay. So we're on the main and we're coming down and life is good.
Yes.
So at this point in time, let's look at the eBay. I'd like to look at your electronics.
All right.
Okay, what kind of switches are you using to arm and disarm?
Screw switches.
Okay. So where are the vent holes in the band there? Are those also the access to the screw switches?
Yeah. Yep.
While he's taking this apart, would it be valuable for me to show you the our GPS is in the nose cone? Would you like to see
Okay,
that?
all right, yeah, I do want to see the GPSs. So you
Unless
don't
if
have any
you grab the-
GPSs back here in the eBay.
No, the GPS is not in the electronics bay.
Okay, yeah, let's look at the GPS mounting.
All right.
Is the nose cone
So
fiberglass, by the way?
yes, it is. Because carbon fiber is not RF transparent. So the GPS is down in there. There's a screw. It's tough to explain, but I'm about to show you.
Okay, I can't see much right now. It's just a
Yeah, I
black hole right
apologize for
now.
that. So here's our GPS, and there's threads on it that will allow it to thread into the nose cone. They're very secure, but we have a featherweight GPS, and then as well as some custom electronics that are irrelevant to the actual competition and do not interfere with any communications that are mission critical.
Okay, what are the batteries? Okay, what kind of battery is the blue battery there?
So I just noticed that Nate Miller is in the call. Nate, would you mind explaining that?
Yeah, sure. They're both lithium polymer batteries. They're both manufacturer provided. The one
Okay.
is from Feather, and then the other one is from Adafruit, and they are 400 milliamp piece.
Okay, all right. So they're the manufacturer batteries.
Correct. Yep.
I'm good with that. Okay, and you're mounted on standoffs for your electronics. You're not actually mounted hard against the. Okay, it looks like you got standoff. Excellent, excellent. Okay, I'm happy with this. If you want to put
Alrighty.
it away or put it aside, I'm happy with that.
Sounds good. I'm going to set it down over here, and Luke's got the avionics section ready.
You may want to put it in the middle there so it doesn't get knocked off the table.
Yeah. Should be all right. All right, so here are our avionics. So we have two RRC3 altimeters. They're commonly used. One is primary and one is redundant. Yeah, Nate or Luke, do you want to explain a little more on that?
Yeah. So, just RSC3s, they run to switches mounted there and there.
Okay.
They both use separate 9-volt batteries that are held in the backside. This battery is to power.
Okay, so it looks like. Okay, so first on the 9 volts. Okay, is that a holder that they're in, or does that have, I'll call it a transistor radio connector for hooking up to the batteries?
So
Okay.
yeah, there's a 3D printed holder that holds the batteries in, and then there's just a standard 9-volt battery connector that goes to
Okay.
each.
And which way is up on the sled right now?
So the camera facing towards the sky is up.
Okay, so that so you're holding it with the in the pointy end up direction right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so just turn it back around, looking at the batteries. Okay, so right now on the batteries, acceleration forces, the there's one
there's
minor
there's a lip that's built into that we built into the batteries so that they don't come out.
Okay, what I'm looking at is looking forward. Is there anything that helps keep the battery connector from popping off from deceleration?
So typically I just use a piece of electrical tape or just wrap it around and then load the battery in there.
Okay, I can live with that if you use if you got some kind of a restraint to put to make sure that that battery connector can't pop off.
Yeah.
I'll be good with that.
Yep.
Okay, and it looks like there's another battery behind the 9 volters.
Yeah. So these, Nate, do you want to? I don't know which battery this is. Can you say?
Sure. Yeah, those are both metal sealed 18650 Samsung batteries
Okay.
that are about 1,200 milliamps apiece.
Okay, I'm
And
good with
lithium
that.
ion.
That's a recommended battery.
Okay.
Okay, just let's look at the other side again. Okay, everything is mounted on standoffs. Just real quick, if you could zoom in on just one of the RRC3s, I just want to see the terminal block there. That's good. That's good. Okay, because one of the things I'm looking for, and they'll look for in the field, is there any exposed conductors? I mean, there's a very, it's acceptable to me on the mid on one that's towards the middle RRC3. I think it was the green wire. I just saw a top on the top there. Just saw a hint of conductor, but it wouldn't be enough to worry me.
Where are you seeing the conductor?
Okay, it's on the black wire, but it's just a hint of it. I wouldn't flag you.
That?
And I'm like,
No,
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 on the
no.
other,
Right there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but it's acceptable. That's acceptable. Are you doing pull tests on your wires?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Okay. It's a nice clean layout that you've got there. I'm happy with how you've done this. So
So
this looks,
one thing that I just actually want some clarification on. So these are, have you seen these connectors before?
yeah, they're not in focus right now.
There we go. Maybe. Hold on just a second. Let me.
I think I've seen them before.
Okay, so the way these work is these connect to these terminal blocks, and then because we, before we, bolt down this bulkhead, we'll connect these two like this,
Okay,
and there's a
locking tab.
locking tab, but this is safety critical.
Yes.
So, am I supposed to put a zip tie or electrical tape around that locking tab?
If I remember on that type of tab, you need to push it to release it, not to tie
Right.
it. I mean, that's a
It's a
push to release, right?
yeah.
So tape won't help you.
Well, if I tape it down, if I tape the tab down, so it
Okay.
basically, yeah. If I just do a wrap of tape this way, then it can't pull out.
All right. If you can move your thumb for a second from the connector. All right. That'll work. Just tape it.
Yeah.
And are you gonna put that in your checklist to do so?
Yeah. It's in the checklist.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'm good with that. And also, how much force does it take to separate those? I mean, are they a relatively light pull, or they take a fair amount of force to pull them? Okay, it looks like, okay, you've got to pull on it a bit. Okay, tape it. I think you're good.
Awesome.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so I think I've seen the entire rocket, and the rocket looks excellent to me.
Thank you.
The
Great.
one last question I have is checklists. What do you have for checklists?
We have a document. I can send it to you if you'd like. I don't have it on hand currently.
Okay, so just a couple questions just to talk about it.
Okay.
You've got in there, we were talking about the taping those connectors. So we'll hope that that's in there. Are you checking for fresh batteries or charged batteries before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so that we're out there, you've got a launch pad procedure, you're taking the rocket out to the pad. Presumably your checklist has arming your electronics,
Yes, sir.
installing the igniter, hooking up to the launch equipment, and you're walking away from the rocket. Okay, let's assume, and it's not, is this your first year out there?
This is our second year.
Your second year. Okay, so you know what the weather is like. There's always a potential for a scrub or something like that. So if you are scrubbed on your launch and you have to take the rocket off the pad, do you have on your checklist procedures for safing the rocket before you remove it from the launch pad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because that's something I would be looking for in person. If you want to send me your checklist, that's fine. That would be appreciated, but it's not required.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so you have a, I'll call it the scrub procedure if the rocket has to come off the pad. Okay, you go out, you fly, the rocket's out there in the field. Do you have a recovery procedure or checklist?
I mean, other than just the rules and requirements document, nothing specific.
Do you have anything to look for any live charges remaining in the rocket and what you're going to do if you have any live charges on the rocket? Do
Well, I
you
mean,
have any?
not currently on the checklist. We can add that as soon as possible. But I mean, all of us are aware that before touching anything on the unrecovered rocket, that we need to first, I mean, ensure that it's, well, safe. I mean, you could get a rattlesnake in there in New Mexico for all we know, right? So,
Oh yeah, you are
so
correct.
to inspect a launch site, also not only for even just safety, but also for understanding what happened upon recovery. If you're immediately picking things up, you potentially are going to overlook a frayed tether or a crack in the airframe, etc.
Okay, I would prefer, and this is something I would be looking for if I were inspecting your rocket at SAC, is I would examine your checklist, and the two things I would be looking for on recovery are: one, are you looking for any unfired charges? And if you have unfired charges, what are you going to do about it? And two, before you do any significant handling of the rocket, do you have in your checklist to disarm your electronics?
Yes, sir. Well,
So that's what I would be looking for.
What do you normally do when you have unfired charges? Because we've never had that
Depending
situation
upon
before.
what your accessibility is, which yours should be pretty accessible. If you had if one of the charges worked and you had a parachute come out, I would probably, are you taping over your wells to
Yes.
hold the black powder in? I would probably just remove the tape and dump the black powder. Leave the live electric match in there, but at least dump the black powder so you won't have any significant charge going off.
Could we just cook it off?
I would not cook it off because you don't know why it didn't go. You don't know. First off, if someone's seeing a flash or smoke, you could panic people. Two would be, you might want to know. I mean, you don't know whether electronics failed. You could have had a bad match, so you may not be able to cook it off.
Okay.
So my suggestion would be is just dump the black powder.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Other things would be on your checklist: include any PPE that you might need, like any safety glasses or face shields when you go out to the rocket.
Yeah, we got basic stuff. Yes.
Okay, that's good. All right, you guys did an excellent job. The rocket looks solid. I have no issues.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I'm gonna set down my phone and my arm's starting to get tired.
Okay, is Chuck Neff still going to be your flyer of record?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I know Chuck.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, Chuck knows me.
He was our flyer of record last year as well. And our team's good friends with the Washington and Lee team as well, so we shared him anyway. But Chuck's awesome.
Yes, yeah, he is the section activities chairman for the National Association of Rocketry.
Yeah, he does a lot for like this whole hobby. He's awesome.
Yes, he does. Yeah, so I know Chuck. Give him my regards.
It will do.
Okay. Like I said, you've done well. So looking forward to meeting you in person out there.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, I'm going to send an email out just to Esra, just say we've done your review. And basically what I'm going to say is, no issues.
Great. That's what we wanted to hear.
And like I said, the only thing I'll put on the email too is just another reminder to submit your video.
Got it. We'll do.
So we're good.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right.
And yeah, like you said, we'll see you at Spaceport.
Okay, yeah, because you guys have flown. Was there any issues on your flight?
No. It went pretty much exactly how we expected it to. We're fixing to do a second test launch tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
So hopefully all goes well there as well.
Okay, I didn't look at your payload, by the way. What is your payload?
So currently we are repairing it. What is in the rocket currently is concrete that is fixed to the same
Mass
size.
representative?
Yes, it's representative right now, and it's also our backup. If this fails or breaks or something, then we are going to use the concrete payload. But currently, this is our experimental payload. It does not have any kind of recovery device. There's no safety issues with it. It just sits in the rocket. It's roughly 8.8 pounds. It fits in the CubeSat dimensions outlined in the rules. And what it does is it's a cooling mechanism. So we had issues with electronics, mainly our camera overheating last year. And so this year we wanted to do a test to see if there's a way we could reduce the heat experienced by our electronics. And so we made this payload to attempt to just test some of that functionality.
What's your coolant in there?
So there is no coolant in it. So what we're going to do is store it in something like a cooler, and this heat sink will be cool coming out of the cooler. Of course, it's going to heat up pretty quickly as soon as it gets out in the New Mexico heat. So we're going to get it in the rocket, and then there is a what's called a piezoelectric.
Peltier effect device?
I'm sorry?
Is it a Peltier device?
Nate, do you want to speak to that?
Yes. Yeah, it's a Peltier. Or
And
Peltier.
a Peltier device basically works backwards to a thermocouple. There is a junction on there, and if you put voltage through it, actually in one direction it cools, in one direction it heats, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
All right, but there's no, what batteries is that is that system using, by the way?
That's using 4 18650 batteries.
Okay. Should be okay. It's not flight critical. And has this flown at all?
No, sir, it hasn't.
Okay, my only concern looking at it is make sure you use some new tie wraps and that you got the tie wraps nice and tight for those batteries so they don't move out of those holders during acceleration. But other than that, we're good to go.
Great. Good deal.
So, all right. We'll see you out there.
Yep, we'll see you at Spaceport.
Okay,
Thank you,
I'm
Mr.
logging off.
Thank
Bye-bye
you.
now.
Bye. I don't know how to stop.
Oh, you knew he was gonna do that to you.